servers, whether it's an automated processes, and get that inventory of what is it, what are the algorithms that are used, and so forth. That has to be the starting point, because if you don't know where it is, then you're already in trouble.
But what about in terms of the more productive side? What are some strategies and recommendations to actually manage machine identities?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the simple answer first, because a lot of organizations don't even know where to start, and then I'll hand it off to Ted and Colin for a more detailed answer. But it really comes down to like project management 101. So where is your current state, and what is your desired state? And implement a very simple crawl, walk, run to get there. Because what ends up happening is a lot of organizations have analysis paralysis, and it just goes in the washing machine over and over and over again. Cryptography is very complex. Out of all the different security domains, it's the one I love to hate the most, because it's the most complicated. And a lot of people, they get literally scared, like they're legitimately frightened of this space, and therefore it's the fight or flee mechanism comes over, and they don't know what to do about it. But it's okay. Just breathe and just start today with a basic plan and continually improve. Assess where you are, regardless in that maturity cycle, and just move to the next step.
It is a challenge. I think definitely visibility has got to be the starting point, that people just haven't a clue what's going on, what the machines are. So it is doing that sort of audit, getting a visibility, and being able to bring that into one place to then look at it. And then from there, you can start to build some intelligence on those devices. Can I manage them? Are they, like Ted said, unmanageable? And then start to focus in on those. And then I think the final piece is the action part. And that's got to come down to a lot more automation and orchestration, because where we've talked about limited teams and skills shortages, etc., you do need something to help tackle these challenges and do it in a timely fashion. I think Gartner talked about $300,000 an hour cost of downtime. So you start to look at those costs. You really need to work quickly to let's say revoke machine credentials and certificates, and then reapply new ones, and then reestablish all the connections again. That takes time, and we're also in a dynamic world that data is going everywhere. We do need to put cryptography in the cloud. We do need to have it on premise. We need to have it in software services that maybe we don't manage, and that just makes everything complicated. So I definitely think the orchestration, automation process is the way forward. We've got to do something to help the teams with the limited skill sets they have.
I think it's Brad and Colin have touched on it exactly. I think it starts with inventory, right? You can't manage what you don't know that you have, right? So the first step is just understanding where are the cryptographic assets that I have. My SSH keys, all of my certificates, all of the cryptography that's used to secure my business, whether it's in the devices that I'm manufacturing, whether it's in my users' phones, laptops, devices, so forth, whether it's in servers, whether it's in automated processes, and get that inventory of what is it, what are the algorithms that are used, and so forth. That has to be the starting point, because if you don't know where it is, then you're already in trouble. But that is easier said than done, right? That can be a very high volume. Of course, the numbers are going up, but that isn't where it needs to start. And then to have a plan, and that goes back to, I think, what Brad said is, you start with, okay, here's what I have. If there is an issue that I need to deal with, right? Let's say SHA-2 becomes compromised and I need to switch to something that uses SHA-3. That's an absolute practical example. The exact same thing happened with MD5 and SHA-1, the other two earlier hash algorithms. Very likely that something like that will happen in the future. How do I know where all of the things that use that algorithm, where they are, and how do I switch to something else? And to have at least a plan in place for that that I know what I'm going to do when that happens. What happens if a root CA gets compromised, one of the public providers, or something that I'm running internally? Also, a real world example. There have been CA compromises in the past. DigiNotar and others have had issues. If those things happen, you need to have a way. Okay, what systems trust these things so that I can adapt from there. And then you mentioned, Colin, obviously you can start with manual processes, but with the numbers and the volumes that we're talking about, much better if you can do have automation and things in place to be able to update those things. In a very large organization, it's probably going to be a mix of manual and automated. Obviously, you want to automate as much as you possibly can. And that's really, when we talk about crypto agility, that's what we're talking about, is that ability to do that, whether it's automated or manual, right, to be able to respond.